Yep, got to remove some more bearings in the crankshaft. So that's a quick update here. I hope you get something out of it with watching me remove another bearing. It's not a hard job. And thanks for watching.
Okay, I'm back in the hangar again after that mishmash of pulling the bearings off, finding another bad one. So I'm going to attempt to remove the other bearing, which is going to be a little tough because it's so close to the crank, or not the crank, but yeah, whatever. You'll see. Don't know if I'm going to, well, I don't care about the bearing. So I just hope I don't break the bearing puller. We'll see. Thanks for following along this week, and again, remember, like and subscribe and leave a comment. Normally I do that when I get real close to the camera, but I'm going to change it up right now. Ain't that cool? Oh, by the way, I got the hangar doors open. Look at that. It's not quite bright and sunny out, but I want to bring us a nice breeze because it's warm outside. And these hangar doors have been closed for over 6 months. I'm airing out the hangar. So, yeah, I'm going to put this camera down. As a matter of fact, I'm not even going to cut or edit this out. I'm just going to put this camera down and bang, crash, boom. Oh yeah, rotten camera work. I think that should be about the right angle. Let's see. So, because it's so close in there, I have to actually tighten these bolts in to try to lift the bearing a bit at first. Because it's just way for thin in there. So I need to do this evenly, a little at a time. And I don't think it's going to work. No, I don't think it's going to work.
The next day.
Actually, several days later, I'm back at it again. You'll notice the hangar doors are closed now. Yeah, let's try this bearing removal one more time.
Okay, friends. Well, got the inner bearing off now. Yeah. Through the magic of film editing, this is actually, this episode here is over 3 days. And, you know, it doesn't look like it because I'm wearing the same shirt. Don't tell my mom. Yeah, so the bearing is off. The second bearing has been ordered, and then when that comes in, I will be putting the bearings on, and we'll see how that goes. The inner bearing was a little tougher to pull off because there's such a thin spacing between, between the bearing and the crank there. But it came off. And while I was taking it off, I noticed the bolt. I hadn't noticed this when I removed the lower pulley for the reduction drive, but that bolt has a dimple in it, and they paid it no never mind. Now that I'm pulling off the inner bearing, because I had to put that bolt in there, because the bearing puller would have gouged the threads inside the shaft. So I put the bolt in there so it pushes on the head of the bolt. I noticed that it already had a pretty big dimple in it. So that's telling me that the bearings on that engine has been replaced at least once on that side. And that's disturbing in one regard, because that engine was placed on this aircraft originally in 2002, 20 years ago. And it only shows on the log books and everything else that it has 130 hours on it. Unless something happened, and there's no entry in the log books, unless something for that engine, unless something happened and they didn't enter in the log books that required those bearings to be replaced somewhere in that 130 hours, I'm guessing that that engine was a used engine and may have more than 130 hours on it. Now, the bearings and everything else seem to be solid, and okay, no, it's a perfectly serviceable engine, but it's not a new engine when it was installed, which I don't think it was. Would that have changed my mind when I was contemplating upgrading to the 582? Maybe. Maybe. I don't know. Hang on. I gotta take a sip of my Mountain Dew. Yahoo! Some of you might remember that. So yeah, the engine looks sound in every other way, other than those two bearings, and the bearings were definitely bad. It must have been just gobbed up with oil originally, why it was so quiet originally, that PTO bearing, the inner PTO bearing. The other bearings have had considerable time to leak down any oil in them, and they are still buttery smooth and quiet. So I'm satisfied that the three other bearings on that crankshaft are good, and I'm replacing the two bad ones. Now, were they really, really bad, or could I have gotten 100 hours out of that engine? I might have gotten 100 or 150 hours out of that engine. It's possible, provided it had enough lubrication and so on. Possible. It's also possible that it would have given up the ghost in 5 hours. That's also very possible. So, the decision to pull both bearings is not a hard one. Okay, I'm going to close this off right here, possibly ending this episode, or depending, I might, if I get the bearings, the other bearing in on time, I might go ahead and install the bearings, film that, and make this all, a whole thing just on bearings on the crankshaft. Time permitting, so we'll have to see. I do want to get an episode out once a week, and so sometimes that means that I get a bit of a short episode in some cases. But I just want to keep you guys up to date in somewhat real time as to what's going on with this thing. So, okay, anyways, so I'm going to cut it here, and if I don't carry on with the rest of it, I'll say right now, keep your stick on the ice, and I'll see you again in the hangar, or we'll carry on with doing the installation of the bearings. You will know in about 2 seconds.
Well, that will just have to be the next episode, or the one after that, when the bearings come in and I install the new bearings on the crankshaft. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Leave a like and a comment. Bye-bye.